Well, maybe with our next guest, Congressman Jodey Arrington of Texas, who recently introduced the Pat Underwood Federal Law Enforcement Protection Act and the David Dorn Act of 2020 legislation, which protects law enforcement, holds rioters accountable, and restores order. Representative Arrington joins us live to discuss and tell us a little bit about that. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming on. I'd love to get your thoughts on just what you think about the Virginia State Senate and that bill that they just passed.
Well, I think it's dangerous for any leader at any level of government not to understand that their first and most important job is the safety and security of their citizens. This sends a terrible message that further disrespects and dismantles the police in protecting our families and our neighborhoods. And that's why we filed legislation on the federal side of rioting and assaulting law enforcement that would send a different message, that you will be held accountable, there will be consequences, and that we stand with the men and women in blue who are protecting us. And as a whole, the vast majority are the most honorable, courageous, and decent men and women. And we ought to have a society, and we ought to have laws that send the message, and we ought to have a culture that respects these folks who are doing this very dangerous job on our behalf.
Congressman, talk to me about the bills that you're discussing there and what you're passing, what you want to see done, because there are two ways that we're seeing this: defund the police, and then there's defend the police. What sparked you to get involved in this fight?
Well, I think the lawlessness that is ravaging our largest cities, while our Democrat local leaders are just completely falling down on the job or in hiding somewhere, while the mob is burning the city down, destroying property, and threatening the lives of these law-abiding citizens. So that which we can do on the federal side, we should do. And in this case, we wanted to strengthen the accountability for those who are involved in rioting and assaulting a police officer. Today, you can get a longer prison sentence for defacing a monument than assaulting a police officer with a deadly weapon. That's wrong. It sends a terrible message. And I think, like the president's trip to Kenosha, we want the men and women in blue to know that the vast majority of Americans and their leaders and their political leaders stand with them and want to do everything they can to support them.
Yeah, a lot of folks want to see action from a federal level as well. And in fact, Joe Biden spoke yesterday in Pittsburgh. And the president tweeted this out against it, and he said this. The president says, "I just watched what Biden had to say. To me, he's blaming the police far more than he's blaming the rioters, anarchists, agitators, and looters, which he could never blame, or he would lose the radical left Bernie supporters." What are your thoughts on this and politics playing a part in law and order and the safety of public citizens?
Well, I think the left has co-opted the Democrat Party. Let's be clear. Look at the presidential debates on the Democrat side. Look at the policies they were raising their hands and ascribing their agenda to. Look at the House with Nancy Pelosi and her being co-opted, and the bills that have been written by the squad. And now you've got the same strategies of fear and intimidation exacted by the left that are in the streets tearing through our neighborhoods. And I think that this should be a message to the American people that you do not want folks of this extreme nature that believe with such zeal that anything that stands in their way they must destroy, and that the end justifies any means. You do not want them with the levers of power, as the president said in his acceptance speech the other night. So people ought to take notice. What they read, what they see, they ought to believe it, and we should never let anybody with that mentality near the levers of control of our government.
So Joe Biden's VP pick, Kamala Harris, she recently tweeted this, and we'll show it to the viewers. And this is something I alluded to in an earlier segment. And she says, if you're able to chip in now to the Minnesota Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the ground in Minnesota. But then you retweeted that we now have VP candidates writing blank checks to wreak havoc. You went on, but that was one of the highlights in there. Can you explain that for me?
Yeah, imagine this new world that we are living in under Democrat leadership at the local level. They're falling down on the job, letting the mob run over them because they're afraid. The prosecutors are going after the good guys trying to defend themselves. They're not prosecuting the criminals. And at the highest levels, the lead Democrat candidate for vice president is personally and directly soliciting funds to bail people out, like the guy, the self-ascribed Antifa activist who murdered the counter-protester. He was arrested and then released, arrested in part for illegal firearm use. So these folks are complicit in what's happening, this unabated violence and lawlessness that is burning through the largest cities of our country. And it's only going to get worse when you have people at the top of the ticket, again, just inflaming this by excusing them, or worse, bailing them out and letting them get off scot-free without nigh a single consequence.
That is Congressman Jodey Arrington of Texas. Good to see you. He's also a member of the House Committee on Ways and Means. Thanks so much for your time, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Here to react is our panel of the day, former